When you are an internet vulture like I am, you're always surfing the web looking for the newest and the biggest and the boldest stories to go out there and talk about. As a result, you tend to get familiar with what websites go out there and talk about what things. You're usually in the know as to what kinds of articles go up on these websites. And so, when it comes to this website and this particular article, it's so out of left field and it's so big that I wanted to go out there and talk about it in a video here today, because according to some of these sources, apparently, Kent Hughes might have just rejected a Trevor Zegras trade. We've got a lot to talk about, and there are a lot of implications as well. However, before we dive into any of that, I wanted to give a big shout out to the sponsor of today's video. Still spooked out by high wireless bills? Well, you're in luck because Mint Mobile could help you out, and they're partnering with me for today's video. You might already know Mint Mobile if you've seen those funny ads from Ryan Reynolds. Mint Mobile offers premium wireless for as low as $15 a month, and you don't have to sacrifice any coverage, speed, or data. They're built on the nation's largest 5G network. They keep costs low because they sell direct to you online, cutting out retail stores and salespeople. Click the link in the description or scan the QR code if you're interested in the best value in wireless. All Mint Mobile plans include unlimited nationwide talk and text, plus lightning fast 5G and free mobile hotspot. They also have a modern family plan. It's super affordable with as little as 2 lines. Make the switch with their digital eSIM cards from the comfort of your own home. And if your phone isn't eSIM compatible, Mint will ship you a new SIM card for free. And now, as a special limited time offer, you can get their unlimited plan, which is normally only $30 a month, for just $15 a month. 50% savings. Use my link mintmobile.com/lego to get started, or click the link in the description, or scan my QR code. It helps out the channel. It only takes 15 minutes. It's really that simple. So what exactly is it that we're getting into with this video? Well, I wanted to turn your attention to habsolomontfan.com, because if you're familiar with this website, they make their articles, they have some pretty alright stuff. I don't want to make it seem like these guys are The Athletic or anything. They're not going out there and breaking huge pieces of news left, right, and center, but there are interesting pieces on this website once in a while. And yesterday, there was one particular scoop published by Marco Normandin that had everybody up in arms on social media. Exclusive. The Montreal Canadiens had a deal in place to acquire Trevor Zegras. Now, okay, that's a lot to take in, right? Well, let's get into everything and more as the article goes out there and describes. According to an NHL source close to the situation, the Montreal Canadiens had a deal on the table to acquire forward Trevor Zegras from the Ducks a few weeks ago. Now pause, I will say. You have all the right in the world to go out there and doubt habsolomontfan.com as to whether or not they have sources in the right areas to even know this kind of information. We haven't seen this idea, this particular rumor pop up anywhere else except for this website. But don't take this the wrong way. I'm not saying that habsolomontfan.com is not trustworthy. It's just, you know, everybody's going to have doubts when it's not on a Sportsnet or a TSN or something. Let's go out there and continue with Normandin's post. Let's start with the information I have. At the start of the first round of the 2024 draft, the Montreal Canadiens and the Ducks had agreed on the basis of a transaction that would have sent Trevor Zegras to Montreal in addition to one of their second-round picks. In return, the Montreal Canadiens would have given up young defenseman Logan Mailloux, as well as their later first-round pick, 21st overall, in 2024. However, I am told that it was the Canadiens who eventually made the decision not to complete the trade and announced it to the Ducks during the first round. Now pause. Let's just assume that everything that was discussed in this article is 100% factual. Let's say that it all went down like this. What are we looking at here? We are looking at the Montreal Canadiens rejecting a Trevor Zegras and 2024 second in exchange for Logan Mailloux and essentially Michael Hage, because if you map everything out like that, I mean, the Canadiens' 21st overall pick became Hage, and Logan Mailloux would have been gone too. Now, for the Montreal Canadiens fans that want to go out there and debate this idea, I think that your conclusion is really going to depend on where you view the Montreal Canadiens' window of opportunity and how much you think some of these future younger prospects are going to impact that. Because Trevor Zegras and a second-round pick makes the team better now than Logan Mailloux and Michael Hage does right now. You can say that Logan Mailloux has some potential to crack the roster and maybe get, let's say, 20 points on the year if he's lucky. He has a good season, everything works out for him, he'll probably be in that potential for points, right? But admittedly, Trevor Zegras and the magnitude of offensive potential that he has, I'd say supersedes that. Michael Hage and the second-round pick, you could cancel those out because they're not helping the Montreal Canadiens in 2024-2025. So this kind of a trade, if you wanted to project into the immediate future, would have made the Canadiens better. However, long-term, you can debate what the magnitude of importance a guy like Michael Hage, who was drafted 21st overall by the Canadiens, is going to have, and just how good Logan Mailloux is going to be on top of that as well. This is all not even considering that your second-round pick that you would have gotten in the Zegras trade would have needed to be used and actually used properly. If the Canadiens got Zegras in a second and then they drafted some sort of bum with the second-round pick, then the pick wouldn't really matter anymore, right? Trevor Zegras and what he could do into the long-term future, honestly, it's kind of up in the air at this point. I think a lot of people acknowledge that he is talented, he is skilled, he has all this potential, but the confidence I feel in Trevor Zegras to be able to convert to the best version of himself as a hockey player, offensively speaking, it's sort of waned a little bit the past year and a bit, especially since, let's just say last summer when the contract negotiations were going on, it was a really big deal, he wasn't signing, and then he did sign, and then he had a bad year. It's been pretty rough for Z, despite the fact that he has the talent to still be a legit 60, 70, maybe even an 80-point guy. He's still just 23 years old, so there's a lot of time for him to hone his game and become even better than what he is right now. The age-old debate, though, still brings itself up if you're a Canadiens fan. Is this really the kind of guy that Kent Hughes and the Montreal Canadiens would benefit from in the long term? Obviously, there's reason to believe that him and Cole Caulfield playing together would be good. I mean, it was good in 2018-19 when they were in the NTDP together, but at the same time, you have to acknowledge that Trevor Zegras plays a style of game that I don't necessarily know Marty St. Louis would be super rewarding of, if that makes sense. Obviously, it's worth it to try. He is still a talented player, and whichever team you put Trevor Zegras on, he's going to produce points. It's just, is that potential discrepancy in team philosophy and player identity worth it when you consider the price that you're giving up in a Logan Mailloux and the potential of a Michael Hage, both of whom are potentially going to be really strong players for the Canadiens long term. This is why I say when you talk about the immediate short-term future, Zegras helps more than Logan Mailloux does. Hage and whatever second-round pick you would have gotten with Zegras doesn't really do anything in 24-25. But what about 2027, 2028? What about 2029? How does the team look like then? Let's go out there into the article and read some of the thoughts here. There's an entire breakdown as to what the writer feels happened and why this trade didn't get made, but I'll leave you to read that yourself if you want to go out there and see the article. Here are some facts that corroborate the information brought to us in this HabsSolomonFan.com piece. The Canadiens' interest in Trevor Zegras has been real for several months and has been widely documented by several renowned journalists and insiders. In mid-June, 2 weeks before the draft, head coach Marty St. Louis was spotted in a New York gym talking to Zegras. That event is also well documented. Kent Hughes himself mentioned in a press conference after the first round that he had a trade in place that would not have allowed him to draft Michael Hage at 21st overall. It was clearly this aborted trade with the Ducks that he was referring to. The Ducks also traded their late first-round pick, 31st overall, and their 2024 second-round pick, which would have been part of the trade with the Canadiens, to Toronto around 9:40 p.m. after learning of Hughes' refusal to advance in the draft to 23rd place, which curiously resembles the 21st overall pick they would have received from the Canadiens in the aborted trade. According to what my colleague Maxime Truman from Dans les Coulisses reported a few weeks ago during the Stanley 25 podcast, his information indicated that defenseman Logan Mailloux could be traded by the Canadiens in the near future. Following this aborted trade, could the Canadiens still try to acquire Zegras and reunite him with his best friend Caulfield in the future, or is this option now dead and buried? I don't have this information at the moment. Now, this is all super interesting. And this is why I wanted to give HabsolomontFan.com the benefit of the doubt. Like, obviously, you know, again, this is not Sportsnet or The Athletic or Daily Faceoff or the Fourth Period reporting this. This is HabsolomontFan.com. It's not really, like, known for giving us the big scoops here. So when something does get published like this, and there is a convincing enough argument from the writer to justify talking about it, I wanted to go out there and make a video about this on the YouTube channel, of course. So I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section as well. How do you feel about this aborted trade? Trevor Zegras for Logan Mailloux, add on some extra picks, add on Kent Hughes' disapproval, and you have yourselves our big talking point here on Wednesday, August 7th, 2024, in the smack dab dead heat of the offseason. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video, and bye.